Hi there, name's Nico, and today I'll be going over my first duos and squads tier list. So for me personally, I've probably mentioned it before, but I'm mainly a duos player, like in terms of team modes. And so I thought I'd get some help for some squads. So I am calling upon my friend and fellow ER partner, Circadia. Say hello, Circadia.
Hi guys, hello everyone. I'm here helping record this lovely video today for you all, and I hope you guys are looking forward to this tier list.
And yeah, so you can check them out at these links. I'll also link in the description. And yeah, so before we get into the tier list, I wanted to say how we decided each tier. So what we did is we agreed on one character in each tier between S and B tier. And if we had any C tiers, we'd also mention those. I'll foreshadow and say we really didn't. And we base each tier. So if we say, example, my and S tier, we compare to all the other characters to mine, be like, oh, how well is their power compared to my for that tier, right? Okay. So here's the characters we chose for each tier. So in S tier, we have Mai, Johann in A+, Cathy A, Felix B+, and Sniper Aya in B. Not too much to say with B tier, mainly just different weapons for characters. Like they have better weapon options, so that's why Sniper Aya is in B. But yeah, here's some base stats for you guys to look at. You can note that duos will have like better stats compared to solos, mainly because there's less ranks and you're gonna generally kill more people because you're fighting like a team, so you're gonna get like at least one team down, so like 2 average kills, right? Higher wins, and squads can be better than duos for same reasoning. Yeah, I will start off with Dagger Jackie. So we both agreed that Dagger Jackie's in B tier. She's really not been up to standard since really season 2, when Dagger got a whole bunch of nerfs, mainly actually because of Xiukai, but of course Dagger Jackie suffered from that. And just Jackie in general doesn't really have any AoE, not really any CC, and just, yeah, Dagger's just the worst weapon option for her in like both of our opinions. So anything else you'd like to add?
Not too much. I would just say, sadly, it's really fallen off. I remember the days of early, Dagger Jackie with Carnwinin used to be super good, but unfortunately, like Nico said, yeah, just not what it used to be.
Yeah, so you can see like it's really just fallen off the bandwagon. A little bit better in squads, but like such low pick rates, it doesn't really mean too much. So yeah, I'll hand it off to Circadia here.
Yeah, for two-handed sword Jackie, it's kind of the same story about Dagger. Realistically, it's not too awful. Of course, we think it's a little bit better putting it in B+ tier. For both of us. Does have good upgrades. Dan's Leaf, Aurora Longsword, which I've been doing a little bit of experimenting with. But overall, I still feel like it's just not the best. Just not what it used to be either.
Yeah, I think Two-Handed Sword had its peak in like season 3 when Alex was dominating with Manahoshi Zhao, but those days are long gone. So you can see like these stats may look really good, but it's just such a low pick rate that it's hard to say like 1 or 2 people could just dominate with Two-Handed Sword and really skew the stats. And it's even worse in squads where you could probably say like 1 or 2 people, like 0.2% in top 1000 is actually 2 people, so just to keep you in mind with that. So and yeah, I'll hand it off with dual swords Jackie. So the big thing with dual swords is it's insane DPS. So the thing I wanted to note was this patch they actually changed how dual swords damage works. So before it used to be like your attack power for 100% on each slash, but they've changed it to 80% per slash. But the thing is, they compensated it with different scaling changes, and it's actually now better in the late game than it was before. And since squads is like more, I don't know, I say, or like squads and duos more like the Wild West in the early game, where a lot of people just kill one person and then just kind of scale from that. I think it's gonna help dual swords more in the long run, at least the future. Anything else you'd want to add?
No, completely agree with it. I definitely think the changes to how it scales is very good, a lot more healthy for dual swords. And I'm just excited to see what people are going to be able to pull out with dual swords, especially on the other characters like Camilo as well. But we'll go over them later.
Yeah, and then yeah, I did also forget like healing factor on Jackie is just completely insane, and like dual swords use it like quite well, just because of the high damage output they have. So you can see, just looking like pretty above average overall. Like people actually pick her. So yeah, and hand it off to you.
Oh, my favorite in the world, Axe Jackie, the used to be worst character or worst weapon for Jackie, my apologies, a long time ago, but now has really risen up to become the number one, I feel like, weapon for Jackie, even getting a little bit of a nerf this patch, going from 100% of your damage healing to 80% on the axe weapon skill. It is still a disgustingly good weapon in honestly every mode, duos, squads, and even solos, if that is your forte. But yeah, definitely axe cannot be overlooked whatsoever.
Yeah, and just the note, main reason why Axe is so strong is the Axe skill. Even with its nerf, it was like, it went from 100% healing to 80% healing. It's still like insanely strong, and combined with healing factor and quench, like you gotta make sure there's no animals around you in the final zone, or just when you're fighting Jackie, because she's gonna heal up pretty much to full health in the middle of the fight. So you just want to keep an eye on that. And yeah, you can just see how prominent she is in top 1000, having like 29 people pretty much playing her, which is a lot. And you can see her in squads as well. So yeah, we're gonna move on. Pistol Aya, I said that she was like an A+ compared to Circadia. This is mainly due to the fact from the looking at stats mainly from the previous patch, and how Pistol Aya was the main weapon for Aya in duos and squads before AR Aya, or like AR got its changes. And just with the high damage from Pistol Aya and really strong early game, she can help snowball your team into victory into the late game and help you secure early game objectives like Hotel Tree. Like, that's pretty much where you're gonna find it, Pistol Aya. And but yeah, I think AR Aya is kind of overshadowed Pistol Aya, so I do agree that she's fallen off a little bit, but she's still a very solid character and good for any comp. Anything else you'd like to add?
Not really much on my end, just a pretty solid character, but yeah, sadly overshadowed, I feel like, by, definitely by AR at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. So you can see here duos like decently picked, and like you can see squads very high average kills compared to average, and like pretty high pick rates. But again, this was from at least the all ranks and plats are from before the patch, and the top 1000's bit, it's a little bit outdated, but not by too much. Yeah, so let's look at AR.
Oh boy, AR Aya. Oh god. There is a whole lot to say about this, but let me keep it short and sweet. AR Aya, I was even about to put this in S tier at this point. I feel like AR Aya is such the ultimate stat check character in the game right now, along with, Jackie, Luke, Bernice. But this character can output an insane amount of damage in such a short time. AR can just, like I said, with Axe Jackie also on this raid, can't be understated how insane AR is right now. I'd honestly, even after thinking about it last night, maybe I should have bumped it up to S tier. But anything you'd like to add on top of that?
Yeah, just I'd like to add a quick thing that AR Aya generally runs Diamond Shard as her main augment, and Diamond Shard is insane right now. I'd say it's definitely the best fortification tree core augment, and it pretty much allows her to be unkillable. You'll just use her ultimate for like a brief second, just the proc it, and she'll just stand still and do so much DPS, and she'll have over 250 defense combined with Embolden, and she's pretty much unkillable. And that's why she's so strong right now, and combined with the weapon skill change, geez. And yeah, you can see like duos, it looks like she's not doing well in like high elo, but again, this was from like a couple days after the patch as people are trying to figure her out. If you definitely look at the stats now, they're on the rise, man. Like it's going up, and you can already see in squads like she's already rising up, doing extremely well. And yeah, and Sniper, unfortunately the days of Sniper Aya being good in team modes have fallen off a lot. Like, the main thing with Sniper Aya that got changed for like team modes was really the sniper skill change that's kind of made her not nearly as good, because sniper skill was insane back in the day where it was a point and click and did do so much damage on Sniper Aya because it was scaling with amp, but now it only scales with attack power, so it's not nearly as good on Sniper Aya. And just in general, Sniper Aya, she doesn't really have the mobility compared to the other weapon types, and she might be strong in the early game, but falls off a lot harder than Pistol Aya. So if you really want to play like Amp Aya, just play Pistol in my opinion. And anything else you'd like to add to that?
Good night, Sniper Aya. That is my one thing I will add to that. Good night, Sniper Aya.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's for the better anyway. So
yeah, no, agreed 100%.
And you can see, like, look, no one picks her. Just don't bother, guys. Okay, yeah, just real bad. And now it's your turn.
Glove Hyun. I am honestly, I had to think about this a little bit, but I'd put him in B+. I just feel like there's better options. He's definitely solid, nowhere, near awful, but still, I don't know. He's I believe Nomonarun said he's maybe due for some changes, if I remember correctly. They had said when they were about to make their Chloe changes last week, that he was probably due for some changes. I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen to him, but I don't know. He's not awful, but I just feel like he could use maybe a little bit something different to him. He just gets outshadowed by some other picks, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. Like, normally with Hyunwoo, at least Glove Hyunwoo, you generally play him as like a tank, but there's a lot better tank characters, and his CC is such unreliable. Like, you need to be around walls, and you can't, like, again, that's just overshadowed by other characters that don't need to rely on CC around walls. Like, clear examples would be 11, who has like a taunt and doesn't need to be, she can be in beach and be fine, right? Hyunwoo, on the other hand, beach, he's gonna struggle quite a bit. So yeah, I just think there's better tank options than Glove Hyunwoo right now. So I'll just show you guys these. Feel free to pause and look at them yourself. And yeah, in Tonfa Hyunwoo, I put him in B+. I really think he's like the same power level as Glove right now. Tonfa, you play differently than Glove. With Tonfa, you generally play him as like an amp one-shot, and I think it's a little, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, Circadia, but I think he's definitely better in duos where taking out one person from a team is like a 2v1 is a lot easier to deal with than like a 2v3. And a lot of times with Tonfa Hyunwoo, once he's done his one combo, he's just kind of, you can't really do anything else. Like, you just get the ER on Tonfa, and then once you're done with that, other than like Tonfa skill, like maybe against like Bow Nadine or Hyejin, where you can reflect so much damage back to your enemy, I don't think you can really do too much.
Completely agree, 100%. Just feel like Amp Hyun being such a cheese play style, despite the Amp drone nerfs here a bit ago, I don't know. I still feel like if you can, cheese properly with them, again, it still falls on the unreliable CC, but for duos and squads, I feel like it could just be the better play style.
Yeah. So you can see, like, generally pretty similar stats to Glove, like a little bit lower on squads, as I mentioned before, and a lot lower pick rate as well.
Ooh, Bat Magnus. Now, speaking of Magnus as a whole, Magnus has definitely, again, fallen out of favor for a long time. He has gotten many nerfs. He did get a slight buff this patch with his 17 versus 1, going from a 30% slow down to 25%, but still, I don't feel like that was enough for him because that really only favors Amp Magnus. It does favor, I should say, Bong Magnus a little bit, auto attack Magnus, but for right now, he has the same problem as Hyunwoo, inconsistent crowd control with his heavy strike. You need a wall, especially for him. You can only be, you have to be looking left, basically. But for right now, and this could go the same with Hammer, just not the best. He definitely needs a little bit of help.
Yeah, and just the thing I would like to also mention that they actually changed how weapon mastery is for Magnus, specifically between the weapon types, so they want Bat to play more as an auto attacker. So they've nerfed the amp scaling on Bat, while with Hammer they buffed the amp scaling and nerfed the basic attack amplification. So I don't know. I just think in team modes you generally want that amp more for the bike from hell, just to finish off a team, you know. But yeah, you can just see like he's just kind of fallen off from the days of I'd say season 1 he was really strong in team modes. Yeah, he's just kind of fallen down. And Hammer, even though I said that amp was definitely better in Hammer, it's just for me, when doing my research for this, it just looked like Hammer wasn't doing as well as Bat was. I'm honestly not 100% sure why. Maybe just the auto attack playstyles maybe a little bit more reliable for Bat Magnus, so he doesn't have to rely on his spells as much. But I think he's just maybe like slightly worse. You could argue that they're about the same power level as well, which is what like Circadia has said. So I think that's also a fair argument.
Yeah, it's about it for me. Yeah, I think they're just they need a little bit of work right now.
Yeah, so you can see like really low pick rates across the board, and yeah.
Ooh, now Rapier Fiora is a very interesting one. I feel like Fiora, after her rework, I know everybody, her rework was kind of received differently by different regions, but I feel like Rapier Fiora is not too bad in any of the modes. She has very good sustainability in a fight. Most people are either running Diamond Short or Vampiric allowing you to just lifesteal up, because she is a spell slinger, if you guys don't know. Now, especially in the team modes. Solos is more of an auto attack oriented playstyle, but in team modes, you can also run Diamond Shard because you're able to apply crowd control so easily with your ultimate, which is also on a low cooldown. So I feel like she's very diverse, has a lot of fun playstyles, and just generally a good pickup.
Yeah, for me personally, I think there are just better CC characters. Like with Fiora, CC is really only on her ultimate. I do agree with Rapier having Rapier skill, which was nerfed more recently, so it doesn't do nearly as much damage, but Rapier Fiora has incredibly good chase and can help clean up someone who's quite low health. But I don't know, for me, I just think there's better characters, and she mainly does single target damage, so that's why I put her in B+. And yeah, and you can just see her stats as well. You can see she's better in duos than squads, or at least she's picked a lot more in duos. And yes, and this Spear Fiora, I'm gonna say like the same thing, like pretty much it's like the same thing with Rapier. She's generally building Spell Amp with Lance of Poseidon right now, and the only difference is she doesn't have nearly as good chase as Rapier, but Spear skill does a lot of damage. Like they have changed Spear skill somewhat to be a little bit more reliant on your spacing. Now, in order to get the knockback effect, you have to actually be at the end of the Spear skill, versus before it was kind of as long as you hit it, you get knockback. But I think the damage from that and like the extra CC you get from Spear skill makes up for the lack of mobility, but I still think she's just a little bit underwhelming compared to a lot of the other cast.
Yeah, I don't know. I still feel like it's not that bad. That and Rapier both have very good percent amp scaling, so I don't know. I feel like I always feel like it's kind of underrated. I think it's just as solid as Rapier can be, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And you can see in duos, she's definitely fallen off the deep end, really, and squads. Not as bad as duos, but still not as much picked.
Now, two-handed sword Fiora in team modes is definitely oh goodness, it barely exists anymore. It is one of the things I rarely ever see. Of course, as I said earlier, during Rapier, it is mainly a solo-oriented weapon. Just not that good. You can't really play the amp playstyle with it unless you're going all Moss, the amp two-handed, but just you shouldn't really go amp on a two-handed sword. It just feels awkward. But yeah, I don't know, just B tier. no, I don't like it. Puts a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, just with two-handed sword, like this amp scaling is really low for two-handed, definitely compared to rapier and spear. And yeah, again, this is definitely a solos weapon choice, and honestly, the best solos weapon choice for Fiora, in my opinion. And you can see with our stats that she's non-existent in duos and like pretty much non-existent in squads as well. So yeah, just don't play two-handed, guys, okay? And here we have Bow Nadine. Okay, Nadine I think is like definitely above average. Like she has a lot insane damage with her bullseye and bow skill. Even though bow skill was nerfed, or rain of arrows, it's definitely still incredibly strong. Great for checking bushes. Like you don't need to worry about being ambushed by someone as long as you use your kit right with combined with bullseye and rain of arrows. And just as long as you have like a front line, which you do in duos and squads, really you don't have to worry about your Nadine dying. Again, there's certain matchups where you have like Nicky, who can just point and click all your Nadine to get it to her, but I think she has the kit to generally get away from those situations with her Q. But yeah, I just think the only really downside is all your hunts going to Nadine, so your other teammates will be under leveled. But if compared with the right characters, I think she's incredibly good pickup.
Yeah, she can definitely make up. Of course, like we said, you kind of really have to just you have to feed her essentially everything on the map. But with the right front line, maybe like an 11, she can definitely put in work.
For sure. And yeah, you can see definitely like higher wins because Nadine in late game is just insane. So she's definitely gonna, if you get Nadine to late game, she's probably gonna win, just how it is. And with squads, you can see maybe not as impressive as duos, but still like pretty good.
Now, speaking of crossbow, again, crossbow used to be a very good early grief weapon, but ever since that has just gone kind of the way of the dodo, we are now looking at a crossbow Nadine, which rarely ever sees play. Bow just is so much more insane. The weapons are better, kind of fits Nadine more. But who knows? Maybe crossbow will come back one day, but for now, it has to take a good little nap.
Yeah, just with crossbow, the biggest change with crossbow is being that they removed the amp scaling on crossbows, and in team modes you will pretty much only see amp Nadine. Maybe you'll see the rare auto attack Nadine, but I don't think it's nearly as strong as amp. And just the range you get from bow is a lot better compared to crossbow, and the weapon skill I think is not as good. Like crossbow weapon skill is not nearly as good as your bow skill. And yeah, you can see again just a non-existent weapon choice on her for like in squads is a lot worse than duos as well. So and yeah, throw Zahir. Okay, I think I'll just already.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh yeah, sure. I think it's your turn anyway. My bad.
Oh no. What? Oh no, wait. Did I go over crossbow Nadine? Well, it don't matter. But I'll just explain it real fast. I think throws here is not that bad. I think the only thing that really brings it down is smokescreen. I think as a weapon itself, other than smokescreen, throw has been incredible. Ruthenium marble has been such an insanely good weapon, especially they gotten a bit more scaling buffs, I believe. The only, like I said, the only really downside is probably the smokescreen weapon skill. Fireball has also been doing really well as a weapon. I've tried it a few times on Zahir, and it did see a little bit of play, I believe, in either the ERL or the ERC. But yeah, for right now, I don't think it's that awful of a choice. I think it just gets outshined a lot by Shuriken.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It's just, for me, it's hard to see if like weapons with such low pick rates, how actually strong they are a lot of the times. And I just think the weapon options on Shuriken are better for Zahir compared to throw, mainly because you have that extra skill damage, which I'd say Zahir wants a lot more than percentage amp. But with Fireball, like, seeming to more play, which has like really good extra skill damage, and it has like pretty good scaling, but I don't know with the mastery changes or the pace of the game being changed, how good scaling weapons are. I'd say they're a lot worse now. Like, you're generally not hitting that level 20 threshold to actually get the max benefits from those scaling weapons. But again, I could be proven wrong with Throw, and maybe it is a lot better than I think it is. But yeah, you can just see like 0% pick rate top 1000. It's like non-existent. Same with squads. So it's really just hard to tell with those weapon choices. And yeah, Shuriken, I've already kind of reflected in why I think Shuriken is A+. Again, just I think better weapon choices. I think routing's a lot more flexible with Shuriken as well. And just also Caltrops being like really good with his kit. You know, like, you can generally use his tornado into like Caltrops and ultimate, and that can generally burst someone down. Yeah, anything else you'd like to add to that?
No, just a great weapon, great character, love Zahir, very nice.
And yeah, and you can see like he's been doing like pretty well overall in duos and in squads. And also, if you were watching the ERL at all, I also say there was a disgusting 11 Zahir comp. I don't know if you remember that, Circadia, right? So,
oh yeah.
And yeah, I was looking at that and it was just kind of insane. Yeah.
Ooh, now going on to Hart. Hart has definitely seen better days, of course, but right now, again, solid character, good damage output. Has that slow on her Q, which is what most Hearts go. Nobody, of course, is going Amp Heart. Auto attack Enat Heart is definitely the way to go. And Heart, just a good pickup. I would still say again, in a world where AR is what it is, Heart, sadly, I just don't feel like is as good right now. But still, like I said, still an okay pickup if you like her playstyle.
Yeah, and I like pretty much agree with that. Just like a good charm can, I think, turn a fight around, but definitely overshadowed by AR in general. Not, like even like AR, I definitely, excuse me, like AR Isol and AR Aya both being really strong right now in team modes. And you can see here it's just like decent use, nothing too extraordinary at all. So yeah, now we actually, speaking of AR Isol, I honestly think with the AR changes, he's actually probably, you can probably argue with him being S tier right now. Just with the weapon skill change being like insane, and with AR Isol, he actually has that AoE with his mock operational mine, and with good like decent CC with his Semtex bomb rooting someone and his ultimate, the mock operational mine. And combined with like good team, like you've definitely seen like maybe Sissela, AR Isol, and duos, which was in the ERL, and that comp also looked incredibly disgusting. Like in generally with like Diamond Shard, he can just kind of face tank and do so much damage.
Completely agree, 100%. Great character, guys, pick him up.
Yeah, and you can see he's already has like above average kills. You can see he is having like decent use, and yeah, you can already start seeing in squads, he's definitely being picked up a lot more. And I'm sure if you looked at these top 1000 numbers now, you'll definitely notice an uptick in Isol.
Ooh, now here's the fun one, guys. Pistol Isol is officially, I want to call it dead so much. I don't think there's a room ever where you pick Pistol Isol anymore. Of course, before it had the very annoying amp playstyle where you would max your W, the big AoE cone slow, and it would do a whole lot of damage. It was such an annoying playstyle. I always compared it to Amp Hyunwoo, but for right now, they've gutted it. It's dead. Even after the small amount of nerfs it just got, I still think it's completely dead.
Yeah, I agree. It's just, you can just see no one's playing them at all. I just think if you're gonna play Isol, just play AR. Just AR is just so strong right now.
Those stats are not fun to look at.
Yeah, he's off the deep end as well. But yeah, okay, Gloved Li Dailin. This may actually be really surprising because you think of Li Dailin mainly being single target, like her Q can technically hit multiple people, but it's such a small radius that it doesn't generally. And her ultimate, Striking Tiger, being able to do so much damage to a single target, which may not that good in squads, but just her insane damage right now has seen her a lot more play. and I definitely say that she's better in duos than squads. So I'd take this down a tier for squads. We'll show the difference tier list between duos and squads at the end of this video, but yeah, right now just her like great survivability, just she takes a lot reduced damage in team modes, and combined with Ironclad, which is what she's mainly running, she can survive fights and also just finish someone off.
Yep, 100%. Great character, especially, ever since people started running Ironclad, and then you combine it with the Divine Fist, which is just an insane amount of ENAD on her. She can output in just a truckload of damage. And yeah, very cool character.
And yeah, you can see like she's like one of the top most picked characters in duos, and look, she's just rocking those kills in. And I don't think she actually got any team modes adjustments this patch. A little surprised on that front, and you can see in squads that she's not picked nearly as much as in duos. So, and yeah, we have Nunchaku, and
yeah, I don't know. I feel like Nunchuck, the more I think about it, it's just worse right now. I still feel like, of course, it's solid, but ever since Cerberus kind of got nerfed, I don't feel like it's been the same, especially knowing a lot of Nunchuck players. One of my really close friends, Shuvi, as well, being a Nunchuck believer ever since the beginning. It just definitely has seen its better days, but is definitely it's kind of like what we were saying with Zahir, just kind of overshadowed right now by its counterpart.
yeah, and just I think the big thing to note also with Nunchuck is that it's more amp focused. And so once you use your ultimate to like finish like one person off, because you generally run amp drone, there's some frailty infliction being used, but not nearly as much. I don't think it has nearly as much damage as Glove, where your auto attacks do so much damage. But I do agree it's definitely mainly just being overshadowed by Glove right now. And again, you can see stats just not nearly as picked as Glove is right now, but still decently picked. And yeah, two-handed sword Yuki. Okay, for me, I just currently think that DS is better than two-handed, but I know in squads it probably is the reverse, to be honest. But with two-handed for me is just very like Yuki has a great ult in general, but I think with two-handed it's mainly just the ult that he relies on, and doesn't have as much DPS as the dual swords does. But I definitely still think he's a solid character. He's generally built a bit more tanky compared to dual swords, so he's not that bad as like a frontliner for your team. But I think he's just still a solid character though.
Yeah, I think both forms are solid right now. I definitely think my opinion might have shifted after the patch, but obviously we were kind of going off the stats from last week, and so it's kind of annoying to do it in between a little bit of a like whole new patch, especially where one of his weapons got essentially reworked. But yeah, I'd still say, and this will probably be my little piece for dual swords as well, both great weapons, both have very fun play styles for all modes, honestly. And as you can see here, yeah, the stats and everything, they're pretty good, I'd say, honestly. And yeah, dual swords, of course, you can see again, we kind of switched our opinions, but I'd still say I'd both put them probably A+ right now. I think they're both great weapons, have their own unique kind of things to them. And yeah, just say give Yuki a pickup if you're wanting somebody pretty good and fun to play right now.
Yeah, and just a quick thing to note also of dual swords, I see more of the amp play style on dual swords compared to two-handed, because there's not really an amp weapon for dual swords other than the Almas, which no one ever builds. But you generally see, so I forget the name of the weapon, but it is like Azura.
Oh, Asura, yeah.
Yeah, that's more picked up on team modes, so his ult will do a bit more damage with that playstyle, but it's a lot squishier than the two-handed when you generally build like Helmet Banneret, the Tuan Tien as well, or yeah. You can see also just high picked as well. Like he's just a pretty solid character.
Ooh. Now both Hyejins. I'll have to already say Hyejin is a absolute monster in the game right now, especially for team modes. Insane area crowd control. She outputs an insane amount of damage. Most people are running her with the amp drone right now, so she is able to just be a backline DPS with, spell slinging. She can be the engage. She can do so much for her team. She just essentially enables her team to go wild. And I was playing her a lot yesterday. One of the main comps actually for ERL and ERC has been Chiara, Adri, but I replaced Adri with a Hyejin, and I feel like Hyejin has just been a beast and will be a beast for quite some time now.
Yeah, I just think the thing with Hyejin in team modes is her fear is incredibly strong, and until they really change how her fear is, I think she'll just be top tier in team modes, and just bow skill, or just bow in general. With bow skill, you get insane damage from bow skill, as well as a great bush check as well, which I do think I'll already shed some light here. And you can also show the stats as we move to Shuriken. You can see insane use in all modes, incredibly strong, great stats, high pick rate. So if you don't know, high pick rate generally means a little bit lower stats, as you have high end players and not as high end players combined, so it should be averaged out. But if she has high stats and high pick rates, or just any character, it generally means that character's broken, right? So yeah, that's what Hyejin is. And just the thing to move on to Shuriken, I still definitely think she's top tier. I just think she's slightly worse, not by much worse than Bow. Still S tier. Just the thing with Shuriken skill, which is great for zoning. I just think Bow skill is a lot better for team modes, because you can use it as the bush track to make sure you're not being ambushed by anyone, while Shuriken has to really rely on her Q for checking bushes. And I think they both zone, they both do damage. I just think also bow skill does a lot more damage.
Totally fair. Like you said, I completely agree. Bow skill being insane, but at the end of the day, it is still Hyejin, and that's what matters, honestly, in this. Hyejin, just a disgusting character.
Yeah, and you can just see lower pick rates, but it's still Hyejin, still doing quite well, even with the lower pick rate. It's just Bow is just overshadowing Shuriken right now.
Yeah. Spear Xiukai. Now, this is one I know we talked a lot about before recording this, but Xiukai is not it for me. I know I put him in B+, and Nico has him in A+, but I feel like Xiukai has gotten hit so many times by so many different things. Amtron has taken a hit. He himself has taken hits. The way the game just plays itself in general, it's now a lot faster, which means stacking, obviously, it still takes the same amount of time, but with the game being faster, it's really hard for him. There's just so many things working against Xiukai right now, and I just feel like your team essentially has to also funnel him, especially for squads. You have to kind of sit around, wait for him to cook. Duos, it's a little bit easier because your teammate can, farm some mobs, but it's still just, I feel like, not worth it at all right now.
Yeah, that's completely fair. I think mainly for me is that if you have Spear Xiukai already fed at that 150 stacks mark, he can pretty much just solo kill an entire squad out, right, just with his ultimate. And really his team just needs to kind of keep them CC'd to make sure they actually remain in his ultimate, or just kind of be there to clean up. But I do agree, he is not maybe as, I think he used to be definitely S tier few patches, or not patches, a few seasons ago. But yeah, he has received a lot of nerfs since then, but I still think he's a solid pickup if you're on the right comp, really. And yeah, you can see he has fallen off again, just not really being picked right now. But I also just kind of think Xiukai's that character that his playstyle is not that fun, and so I think if he's not mega broken, he's not going to be picked as much as a different character as well. And yeah, I'll just head and Dagger. It's the same thing with Dagger Jackie. It's just with Dagger, you're really limited to Mount Slicer. Getting the scaling weapon, changing the pace of the game. I don't think you're gonna hit that cap of the scaling weapon, and just there's no reason why they pick Dagger over Spear, especially since their team mode adjustments are actually the same. If believe it or not, Dagger and Spear have the exact same team mode adjustments. There's no reason to pick Dagger over Spear.
Oh yeah, no, 100% agree, and I cannot wait for you guys to see these stats because I already remember what they look like. I believe he is the least picked character. I know at least for squad. Oh my god,
He's gone.
Guys, he's dead. Jim, he. Oh.
Hey, look, he has 100% win rate, guys. He's broken.
0% pick rate. He's kind of cracked right now. You know,
one average rank. Look, oh my god.
But I think somebody picked him for one game because they probably accidentally didn't click spear.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was probably the one game. But they still popped off, so you know maybe they'll find some tech for him in Korea. But for right now, please stick to spear if you're gonna pilot Jukai.
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh, now moving on to Shuriken Sissela, and now this is a character we've seen a rise of, and it's been a very, very quiet rise. That is something I will say. For quite a while, Sissela's been not too favored, I will say. I definitely think, she definitely, back in the old days, was everybody hated Sissela. You know, Sissela having her play style, she throws Wilson, pulls you, Shuriken, you're dead. Yeah. And that got nerfed a lot. But now people have discovered Death Rune. And Death Rune has certainly been, I will say, the key to her rise. Especially she was being played in ERL. If you guys remember the discussion with Isol, she's being paired up with him occasionally. Or that was actually for ERC as well, I believe. But yeah, Sissela, so much damage. Even after the nerf to Death Rune, actually, this patch, I was still playing it yesterday, but it still does a lot of damage, guys. Trust us. And I'm glad, I'm kind of glad to see her back. It's been a while.
Yeah, just Death Rune, I think with Shuriken Sissela, like out of all the Shuriken users, I definitely think it's best on Sissela, mainly because you have your ultimate where you can actually apply Death Rune with your ultimate. You can just pop in a zone where another team's fighting, you just hit that ult, you hit everyone, and I've had a bunch of kills happen where the Death Rune just procs on them and they just die after I just ult an area to clean up a fight. So it's definitely an incredibly strong pickup right now, and you can see a lot more used in squads, but I've used her in duos a bunch. I can say that she is insanely good.
Mm-hmm.
And here with throw, I think again it's mainly just Death Rune being so strong right now, it kind of overshadows throw, but I've actually been seeing more throws use as they change the scaling for throw Sissela to have more amp on it more like recently. So you've been seeing more Ruthenium Marble Ruthenium Marble Sissela back into meta, but again, I just think Shuriken's a lot better than throw, but I think she's still a great pickup.
The ironic part I feel like is it's kind of very funny actually. They buffed throw this patch mainly. If you didn't see, they changed her passive cooldown on the enhanced auto from 3 to 2.5 seconds. So they're actually trying to encourage auto attack playstyles for Sissela, which I might have to do some testing on, but it's kind of strange. I don't know. I didn't expect them to want to enable the auto attack Sissela, but who knows? Maybe we'll get to see more of that soon.
Yeah, for sure. And you can just see like it's starting to get picked up on it's starting to get picked up, but it's just not nearly as picked as Shuriken is, but she's still doing pretty good even with not as picked. Okay, so with Chiara, Chiara is, I'd say, definitely in duos right now. She is at the top of it's just insane right now. If you already watched my Adriana Chiara duo comp video, you would have seen the power of Chiara. With healing factor, you can pretty much get like a 600 HP shield. It's basically like fighting another character. And she does so much damage with like crit, and I definitely in squads she's more of an amp character, which also is doing quite well. You can build her a bit more tanky as well, and she still can output that DPS and be a great frontline for your team. And just combined with a bunch of other characters, I think she's just kind of insane.
Yeah, Chiara definitely enables a whole lot of people. She can just go in willy-nilly with that plague and just be absolutely disgusting. I'm sure you guys have all experienced it. It's so I think she's completely overpowered right now. She definitely needs to be looked at, especially if she's able to get that execute on her ultimate. You are able to just constantly fight back and forth. If you guys don't know, when you execute somebody with their ultimate, the cooldown does get reduced on it, and so then looking at that, it becomes, I believe, what, like a 40-second cooldown even at level 1, which becomes just disgusting. You can fight teams back to back to back, and just peel for your team so well.
Yeah, for sure. You can see that she is the most picked character in top 1000 as well as plat, and her stats are incredible as well. Even in squads, you can see the same thing of really high pick rates and doing insanely well. So just she's incredible right now.
Oh, here's another one we get to talk about. Adri, who has been her benefactor for duos, I will say, especially during the ERL. She, oh my goodness, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but the healing factor Chiara combined with Amp Drone Adriana has really enabled such a fun and interactive playstyle, I will say. It hasn't been that fun for the other teams, but if you're looking to gain some elo in duos, that is definitely the way to run right now. She is so overtuned, I will say. She outputs so much damage, and it's just kind of disgusting.
Yeah, and another just thing to add is she has like really good CC, and it can help make sure that your Chiara gets the execute with the knockback from Adriana on the ground as well, so they can't escape from your Chiara Adriana comp. And just the fact that they've kind of buffed her flamethrower over time and given her attack power scaling, it's just she just does so much damage, you know. And you can see just high pick rates, high stats, and not nearly as high in squads, but still definitely a top pick.
Yeah.
And yeah, now Shoichi. Okay. The thing with Shoichi is really just he doesn't have any CC. He's mainly single target as well, which is not what you ideally want in team modes. But with the Maharaja, I'd say that he doesn't need to rely on his ult nearly as much as Mount Slicer does. And I don't know, I just say he does like decent damage, but I think there's just a lot better characters out there that you can run.
Yep, completely agree, 100%. Despite it being, a very heavy burst meta, I feel like Shoichi in team modes just hasn't kept up with the times. Probably for duos, he's a tiny bit better than in squads, but with squads, he just kind of, people know how to play against Shoichi, and he gets blown up pretty simply.
Yeah, you can just see he's just not there in duos at all. I don't know, a little bit surprising he has a little bit better stats in squads, actually. But yeah, there's not too much to add with Shoichi, I think.
Agreed. Oh, now Silvia was a hard one for us. I really don't know. I had to think about this a lot. I'm putting her in B+ for right now. Maybe I should have put her in A, and I know there's going to be a bunch of possible Silvia sympathizers, talking about this, but I feel like she's not a bad character, but I feel like there's just better out there right now for team modes to pick. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't have that much to say about her, honestly.
Yeah, I think the main thing to note with Silvia in team modes is she has her radar gun, which gives healing, but they've reduced that healing in a recent patch, so and mainly just single target damage.
Yep, and just going over the stats, I just don't think she's anything too incredible. Yeah, I can't say really much anything else about that, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, you can see the stats. She's just not really picked up in team modes as well. I definitely think her strongest mode is solos.
Agreed, 100%.
Yeah, Emma. Okay, for me, I put Emma in B+ tier for duos, but in squad she's definitely B tier. Like, I don't know, she just mainly plays as like a poke mage, and that's not really a great playstyle in team modes, in my opinion. Like, generally, once you want to like go in on a team, you want to like fully commit, and Emma doesn't really do that, Definitely think she's one of the, I'd say she's the weakest Shuriken user out of all of them for team modes.
Yeah, 100%. Just feel like, again, outshadowed by probably every other just Shuriken user out there right now. A lot of other mages. Just, I don't really find a reason to pick her up right now, other than if you just really like her playstyle. You can still make her work, of course. And guys, of course, remember that for this, you can still make all these characters work. But just this is in terms of how easy it will be to, kind of win with these characters.
Yeah, for sure. And you can see just not really on it for duos, but like squads is just, yeah, incredibly worse off. So
yeah.
Then we have Lenox here.
Oh yeah, Lenox is definitely a treat. We have seen a whole lot of Lenox these last few months. Of course, I'm sure most of the North American scene has experienced one or two Lenoxes in their day. Lenox is, I used to think she was S tier. She's definitely kind of fallen off a little bit, just a tiny bit though. She's still insanely good, don't get me wrong, but other characters have kind of come up in team modes right now. She's still a solid frontliner if you want to pick her up. She kind of is like a skirmisher. You can use your whip skill, bring people into your team if you can land it, and just honestly solid character, really good.
Yeah, right now that she's definitely played more as like a tank, and so you really want to have someone with like decent DPS with her, like maybe pair her with Aya, like Aya or Nadine, someone just that has that extra damage that Lenox doesn't really have, especially since Lenox's Q does reduce damage when hitting multiple targets, and that's definitely a downfall of her in team modes, but she's still a really solid tank. You can just see here as well. I'm sorry, did you have something to add?
Oh no, that was it, my apologies.
Okay. And okay, we have Rozzi here. I definitely think Rozzi is better in duos than squads. The main thing is that she doesn't have any CC, and her main source of damage is single target with her ultimate, doing that max HP damage, which is like really strong in solos and just good for like one target. But I don't know, there's just a lot of better characters you can deal with in team modes, in my opinion.
Yeah, my whole reasoning with Rozzi, I just think she's a solid character. Not too bad, not too good. Just she's kind of there. She exists for the people that want to play her.
Yeah, and you can just see it's just average, really. She has a lot higher average kills than I was a little bit surprised with in squads, but so maybe I am underestimating her power a little bit. But yeah, it's still kind of stand on my point. It's just single target. No ACC, not that great in team modes.
100%. Oh, Luke has always been an interesting case. We both have him in A tier. I believe we both just kind of feel the same way about him. Luke, just a stat stick character, has his place. The low elo bruiser himself. But yeah, for right now, I just feel like he's you can pick him up if you want to. There's a little bit of better characters in his class, but his stats are good. I think he has great weapons, good transition opportunities for his gear. So yeah, just solid character.
Yeah, just for me personally, I think he's definitely better in duos than squads. I just think his, again, single target, not much CC other than bat skill, kind of makes him not nearly as good in squads as duos.
Yep.
And yeah, like you can see, like high pick rates for the all ranks, and just kind of falls off the higher elo you go, and just not doing nearly as well, and kind of like the same thing with squads as well. Okay, so Cathy, like we already mentioned, we use Cathy as our baseline for A tier, so we both have her in the same rank because of that. And just the thing with Cathy is she has decent CC, and like especially with like suture, which I think is an incredibly strong skill, especially in duos where you can suture two teammates together and you can just like wombo combo them. And another thing that people kind of miss with Cathy is her passive, where when she revives someone on the ground, they get extra healing, and her ultimate, there's that line of healing behind her, so if you have your teammates stand on that, they can also get some health back too.
Yeah, not too much, honestly, I would add on top of her. I think she has good utility. She has her ground, she has her suture, like we said, obviously huge huge impact could be on a team fight right there. But other than that, yeah, just again, she was our baseline for A tier, so I'd say she's just, striking right through the middle is our kind of like average character.
Yeah, and you can just see like these are like pretty average stats overall. A little bit better in the average rank just because Cathy has pretty good escape with between her ultimate and her Q. That's pretty much all the note with her.
This one I feel a little bit silly for. I'm gonna immediately take it back. I think I will have to put her in S tier probably. I just think the more I thought about it, I thought it might have just been a player gap. Especially one of our main discussions was about G-Work, one of the top Korean players right now on both ladder and just honestly in general. Mechanical genius. I thought he was making. We talked about it a lot. I thought he was, just making Adela look a little bit too good. I might move her up to S tier personally after thinking about it more, but I had to put her on A+ tier last night. She might be overshadowed by just a tiny bit of people. I wouldn't say she's like, truly like a meta definer, but she's just incredibly solid. I feel like insanely, just above average definitely for sure, and that's why I had to put her in A+.
Yeah, just for me, it's just she has incredibly good CC. You can generally build her a bit bulky as well. I know that's not really the meta build for her, but I've seen her build like EOD boots and then like Amazonas in duos and like NA duos anyways. Just she has also like really good damage as well. Like they've been running Frenzy on her because the attack speed also scales into AP for Adela because her attack speed fixed. So she can generally nuke at least one person, especially with like Rapier skill combined into the QWE into R combo. So I just think she's insane in team modes. And you can see like but I do want to mention that I think she is like one of the harder characters to pilot, so it's her stats will look more average, but if you can play Adela well, like you can take her really far.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, you can see in squads a little bit higher but lower pick rates. And yeah, Bernice. I don't know. I think for me is the main thing that Bernice has is his ultimate, which is like really the main reason why you take him in team modes. But that was nerfed in the most recent patch, and I was kind of reflecting like it wouldn't make him as good. And I'm not too sure. Again, like some of that's more like prediction based. But the main thing with Bernice is he's mainly single target, makes him mainly autos. You can use bear traps to help like CC and proc urban warfare. I don't know if he uses that really in team modes compared to like solos, but that gives him like 40 AP extra, which is like insane. But he has been getting nerfs more recently. Just Blackfire Cannon got nerfed, and he also received some nerfs as well. So but I definitely still think he's a solid character.
Yeah, I'm personally a little bit biased. I absolutely love Bernice, so I had to throw him in the A+. I think he's always been solid, especially in duos and squads more than solos. For historically, he's always been more solid in team modes. He's had his little flavor of the month pick in solos recently, but I still feel like despite the nerfs, he's still going to be solid. The Bola, despite doing a little bit less damage, it's still very disgusting. Yeah, I love me by Bernice. Can't ever go wrong with him.
Yeah, and you can just see like above average pick ranks or pick rate in all ranks, and same thing as well here, and not too much noteworthy otherwise.
Oh, now Barbara. See, Barbara has been another interesting case for me. Discussing Barbara, KR feels she is incredibly overtuned, especially they were playing her in ERL a little bit, I believe. I can't remember if G-Work or Hifumi was on it. I believe it was Hifumi, and I think G-Work was on Laura, which we will get into later. But Barbara, I feel like, again, I feel like she does so much damage, especially if you can play her to a T, play her incredibly properly, use her turret correctly. She can just output a truckload of damage as she always has, and I really love Barbara,
Yeah, for me, it's mainly just the low pick rate for her. It's hard to tell how good of a character she is, but I do think she is like a solid character and can generally nuke a team with amp drone and then just RW a team down. So yeah, I just think she's a solid character. And you can just see, like, look at the low pick rate, as I mentioned before. It's just not many people pick her, but I think she can do well with the right person and, again, the right team.
Yeah.
Okay, and we have Alex. Main thing about Alex is, like, his ultimate's, like, insane, and you have the Alex combo with his taunt into Shuriken skill, which can do a lot of damage. And he has, like, pretty good poke with Electron Blaster, can help with, like, zoning out people, especially like the final circle with your team. You can just poke with Alex there. And yeah, I just think he's like slightly above average for team modes.
Yep, for the people that can play him, definitely a great pickup. I know a few good Alex mains myself, and they, they're mainly solos players, but that's completely okay. They'll come over one day, but I see how good Alex is in team modes. Yeah, he's an incredibly hard character. A little bit like Celine we'll discuss later, kind of a knowledge gap, but I definitely love Alex. I think he has a very good utility. Obviously, taunt, EMP drone, or what is it? EMP barrage being very good. Yeah, love Alex.
Yeah, so you can just see, oh yeah, he's generally on, like, I don't know, the lower kills. I just say mainly because you have your other teammate clean him up, really, because of, like, his ultimate doing a lot of damage but not, like, fully killing someone, so you have someone else clean up for him. Yeah, you can see in squads. I do think he's a little bit better in squads than duos as well, just like
Now, talking about Sua has definitely had her better days, of course. We were discussing this, I believe, last night. Sua is a bit of an interesting case. She's been nerfed a little bit, but I still feel like her utility is what makes her shine in team modes, definitely. She has that constant stun. She has very good engage. Most people in team modes are going Diamond Shard, which, as we discussed, best fortification tree augment, kind of disgusting what it can do. And I definitely think she has her place. She can be an initiator. She can follow up if they have if you have like another tank on your team, if you're playing squads, if you have an 11 or somebody, she can follow up with some good damage. I just feel like, again, A for, just being great character, middle of the pack.
Yeah, for me, it was just I was saying actually it was a little bit lower, but mainly just because last patch, she was definitely, like, not doing well at all. But because of the buffs she's received, I definitely think now she's more of a solid character. This is, like, really good CC and can do, like, yeah, well, the right team. And you can see it, like I said, these are last patch, the all ranks and plats, and you can see how much she's definitely grown. Like, now on top of 1,000, she's back to, like, average, but last patch she was on the downfall, and the same thing as for squads.
But yeah, hopefully she'll be back up there.
Yeah, and then we have Leon here. I just think he's, like, solid character. The main thing with Leon that I think is better compared to, like, other glove characters is his ultimate can knock back an entire team, and in, like, the right positioning, if you knock them into a wall, it gives them great CC. And I think he just does, like, decent damage as well.
And of course, guys, also, if you hear us say solid character, a lot of our characters are going to be ranging from the A to A plus tier, so it's kind of hard. The game is, honestly, I would just say, in a pretty balanced state right now, of course, save for a few outliers, and Leon just goes into that perfectly. I think, of course, like we said, Surf's Up can knock a whole team back. His Waterway, you kind of have to be wary of it, of course, the Duck Dive being such a good initiation tool combined with Surf's Up. So yeah, just, again, I think that's our 2 words of the day: solid character.
Yeah, just the thing with team modes is you can generally pair one character of another, and, like, the weaknesses they have in solos gets kind of reduced in squads, where you can have another, or even duos, where you have another character make up for their weakness. So that's why I'd say most characters are in, like, the AA plus, unless they don't have, like, any CC, or like single target damage, which is why like characters like Shoichi aren't like really solid characters in team modes. That's all. Yeah, you can just see his stats here as well.
11. Now, if you guys have been playing the game for a decent enough of time, especially in team modes, you will know 11 has always been a strong pick, especially after about a month after her release. You know, she had a little bit of a struggle on launch, but after that, it has just been full steam ahead. 11 is a monster of a character, an insane engage on air. You know, she can jump right into an enemy team, instantly taunt 3 people for about what I believe it's 1.8 seconds with the empowered W, food for thought, and she can just put in work. Ground beef, her passive giving such insane healing for her teammates if they have to regen back up. She just has everything, I feel like.
Yeah, and I also say don't forget about her 11 combo meal giving insane healing for her team as well. I'd say she's the best tank for team modes in the game. So you can just see like, though you're gonna see the low average kills because again you're playing her as a tank, so you're not really relying her for the kills, but more for that CC and durability. Again, same reasons for squads. And yeah, Rio's another character. Is just, again, you may be surprised because Rio doesn't really have that CC, but the thing with Rio is she just has so much damage. If you were watching the ERL at all, you'd see my Rio. I think that comp's insane. Just Rio having armor pen with her passive allows her just to do like 300 damage in auto in longbow form, which is what you run. And her main weakness in solos is that she's really squishy, but in team modes where you can have a tank, it's just her weakness is kind of nullified and she can just output all that damage and kill a team. Yeah, that's all I'd really have to say with Rio.
Yep, we love Rio. Great character. Of course, when you're playing that longbow, you're able to, spec into Myth Quiver as well. And Myth Quiver, as we all know, just makes it even further. And so you are probably getting hit in the Fog of War for 300 damage, and you just don't even know it.
yeah. And that's Rio for you. And you can just see great stats across the board and like all modes, as well as the highest picked in Plat Plus for squads. Just insane character.
And one thing to note as well, just really fast about Rio, I will say, is the sad part is, if you guys know, we did rank Sniper Aya B tier earlier, because the thing is, Rio just kind of does literally a sniper's job, but better. She doesn't even need ammo, which is very sad. But who knows? Maybe we'll see a resurgence of Sniper Aya one day.
Honestly, I hope not. That's all I can say.
Yeah, God, me neither. But you have to give him hope sometimes.
Yeah.
Ooh, now going over William. William is another interesting character, a very long-range backline, ADC type play. He definitely, a few months ago, was the cream of the crop, but after a few little nerfs, I still feel like he's not as bad. I feel like, again, overshadowed by Rio. In other picks, AR Aya, definitely. Those two characters, I feel like, just kind of make William just a little bit right now to play. He also kind of needs Grenade of Antioch after he builds his David Sling to kind of work, and you have to build probably 2 of those, which is a lot of materials. It's 4 gunpowder, 2 iron balls. It is a whole lot to build William up properly versus Rio, where you just kind of build your default bow and then you kind of go on about your day. But yeah, William, still solid though. I still love playing William. It's so much fun throwing your baseballs around.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have too much of that on William other than exactly what Circadia said. So you can just see, just low pick rates, just there's no reason to play William over Rio if you want to play an ADC, really.
Yeah, poor guy. Maybe he'll be back up there one day.
Yeah. And here we have Nicky. Just I don't know, I think Nicky is like pretty strong. She has a lot of CC. You can generally CC stun lock between her enraged E into another E, and then with her I don't really know Nicky's ability names, into her Q, which also is like a stun as well, or like a slight knockback, I believe.
Yeah.
Just it does a lot of damage. She did receive a bunch of nerfs recently, but she was rebuffed, or not fully buffed to what she used to be, but given some buffs back. Just, I think Nicky's like a really good character in team modes.
Yep, 100%. Guard being such a strong ability, she has insane amounts of crowd control, and yeah, that's about it. Honestly, great character.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I also forgot to mention she also runs Diamond Shard, I believe, and just Diamond Shard being insane for what it is, and just the extra slow with Diamond Shard as well can help you just finish off someone.
Diamond Shard. Oh god, Diamond Shard.
Diamond Shard. And yeah, you can just see it just looks like pretty much average here, but yeah, she's just a solid character. Again, as mentioned probably 20 plus times already.
Yeah, agreed. Ooh, now Nathapon. This is one where we both kind of had our differences on. I personally think Nathapon is really great. I think, of course, we talk about the overshadowing. He's overshadowed just by a few characters, but I think Nathapon, this goes especially from a squad's point of view, such great utility. Panorama, just he has great skills. The slow that is on his Q as well is so disgusting. The time-lapse field being great as well. Panorama can pull somebody back in, and F-stop being a great engage tool if you can actually use it properly. It can be also used for defensive, for kiting away, trying to get away from a team. Obviously, I know, Nico, you think for duos it's a little bit worse, which I will agree with.
Yeah, I think the main thing with Nathapon, and I was watching the ERL with Satin actually playing Nathapon for one game at least. I didn't finish the whole video or whatever, but the thing with him is once you've used your spells, like Nathapon's kind of a sitting duck, and oftentimes, like, if you need to get away and you're in a bad situation in your team, your Nathapon's just gonna go down. Like, there's no escape for him, really. So I think that's why he's just a little bit worse in that stand, but I do agree, if you, with the perfect, whatever his are, the stop, full stop, I don't remember the name, sorry. F-stop, yeah. And that can actually, like, turn a fight around, and yeah, I just think the lack of escape and lack of mobility kind of puts him down for me, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally fair.
And you just see, like, he's not really picked too much, but like average stats otherwise.
Yep, we love you though, Nathapon.
And Yuan, and just he has like pretty good CC between his Q and W, and he has the AoE ultimate with the boxing ring, in which you can knock people in, they get stunned, again for more CC as well. But for me, I think he's more of duos than a squad's character. He just, most of his damage is from autoing, in my opinion. And just like, the main thing also of Yuan right now is they're building permafrost for that slow, the Lynch's grasp on permafrost is like really good on Yuan. And yeah, again, I just think for right now, glove is just mainly Dailin being so strong, but every other glove I think is just kind of your solid A tier.
Yeah, 100%, completely agree. Not much more to say on that.
Yeah, you can just see he's just average pretty much everywhere. In squads, he does have a bit of a higher pick rate, but it's just, you can see like 0.5% use rate, like not that much people playing him,
Yeah. Oh, now Ava. Ava certainly has been a treat, I will say, to have watched gameplay of for a long time, as we know. Ava being a just giant laser beam when she's able to get her VF fully up there, and it can really turn a team fight. Do not get me wrong. The true damage that it has is disgusting. Ava, though, she's fallen off a tiny bit from her former, glory, but still, Ava as a character is just so insane. So I'd still say, if you want a very good backline mage to just kind of fire your laser on, give her a pickup.
Yeah, and just another thing to note, with back in her glory days, I'd say it was Ava 11, like you'd see like 3 or 4 of them in a tournament. That comp was so disgusting. I still think it's definitely a solid comp, but there's a lot of other comps right now, like Chiara, Adriana, just kind of overshadow it a little bit. But yeah, I still agree with everything else Circadia said. And you can see just like pretty much average with slightly above average pick rate. Yeah. Daniel. I may have inputted this wrong. I don't think you said Daniel was A+.
No, no,
I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. And for the folks at home, don't even worry about it. Yeah, ignore that. I think we both agreed that he was kind of not the best right now. He's definitely oh god, Daniel's just not it for team modes. He's definitely a solo focused assassin. He can do okay, but it's just kind of pick somebody else, please. My god, please.
Yeah, this is, I just input it wrong, but the main thing is the only reason why I put him in B+ is this is for duo specifically, is that he does like 112 damage in duos, which is insane. And in duos, the thing is you can generally win a 2v1 a lot easier than like a 3v2. So yeah, I just think he's more of a solos character more than anything.
100%.
You can see it has some use in duos, but then when you look at the squads, he's just his squads are just so bad. It's not worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, then we have Jenny. Jenny was a lot stronger, and then she got a huge nerf to her E passive, so she doesn't do nearly as much damage on the 4th auto, but her ultimate being like an AoE charm is really strong in team modes, and she can also do like pretty high damage herself as well, and her passive can keep her alive a little bit longer in those fights, and just in case you need to get away as well, she can just escape from her after her passive if the teammates or if the opponent doesn't have a camera.
Yep, exactly. Poor Jenny. Definitely, well, honestly, I don't feel that bad. Amp Jenny was very not fun to play against.
Yeah, now it's the Molten Malachite Jenny instead of the Stampede, really.
Yep.
You can just see, like, yeah, these look insane. As well, like for duos, and then just squads, it's not as good. But
yeah, definitely fallen from grace. Ooh, now Camilo. This is something we were talking about a lot last night. Camilo, I absolutely love Camilo. I think he's a very disgusting character when piloted properly. It's not as much of a pilot difference as other characters such as Alex or Celine, but I still think Camilo has his place. It's very disgusting what he can do, especially in duos. His duos, oh my goodness, he can just fight 2v1. He is the dancer of Lumia Island, and he wants to definitely put on a show for everybody.
Yeah, I do agree Camilo was a lot stronger, like, last season. They've nerfed his healing a lot in team modes, so he doesn't have as much sustain. Main thing with Camilo as well right now is the dual sword changes, and he got also some nerfs on top of that. So I would really also want to see how he is in team modes after these changes, myself. But I think he's just a lot stronger like last season, But nevertheless, you can just see him, he's kind of fallen off in terms of his pick rate. He used to be a lot more picked in duos, and against squads he's just not played as much compared to duos.
Yeah. Yeah,
and now we have Chloe. Okay, unfortunately, the main thing with Chloe is the changes to Nina have really hurt her presence in team modes, because before you'd play her more of as like a tank type thing where Chloe wouldn't really be killable with her ultimate, and like Nina and Chloe have so much effective HP, and Chloe just do a lot of damage as well. You have like some CC on Chloe, but mainly since the Nina nerfs, she just hasn't been able to catch up, so
yeah, poor girl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, honestly, just the Puppeteer, sadly, they were planning on changes for her this patch, but if you guys read their apology letter, they unfortunately didn't go through with them. They're planning on some more changes for her in the future, so look forward to that.
And yeah, you can just see like just not really picked in squads, but nothing too noteworthy otherwise.
Yeah. Oh, now Johann, what a character to talk about. Johann is definitely Always been a very solid pick, of course, like we said. Solid pick, word of the day, or phrase of the day, I guess in this case. Solid pick up for team modes. Solos Johann. I don't think we even have to discuss that. Everybody should know by now.
Yeah.
Solo Johann. But Johann brings a lot to the table. A root, an attack speed steroid. He brings a blind. He brings a tiny knockback with his ultimate, but that's not, the main thing about it. But still, a ton of utility for his team, can output just so much. And I think we both agree that, honestly, I was debating on moving him up to the S tier. I still think he's kind of worthy of it, but for now, we'll put him A+,
Yeah, the main thing for me is why you wouldn't put him in S tier, and again, if you just watch the ERL, is that he has no 1v1 potential. So, like one of the games in the ERL was Johann was like the last person left versus another person where their teammate was down, and unfortunately he couldn't finish off the kill even when the person he's facing, Bianca, was at 20% HP. He just couldn't do anything, and so that's why for me he's a great support, but don't expect much from him if your teammate's dead.
Yeah, poor the lack of damage is what really gets him. And I think you can see the average kills. Oh my goodness, he's awful in that department, but the rest of it, holy, he's definitely up there.
The same thing with squads as well. He's just not in the kills department, just a support character through and through.
Yep.
And yeah, we have Bianca. Okay. I was thinking about Bianca myself as we were talking last night, and just I don't know, she's A+ or S. I can see it both ways, to be honest. Like, she did receive some like pretty heavy nerfs, but I've still seen her do incredibly well in team modes. She has a AoE ground, and that can really mess up a lot of your team or the opponent's team anyway. And just like the damage it also does is incredible. And just plus her coffin, allowing her to sustain for longer with the healing it provides.
For me, it was the utility, just the Sanguine Javelin, which is her Q, the skill shot just being so nasty, circulation being a great engage tool with Reign of the Vampire Queen, and of course, like you said, the Coffin Sanctuary just being able, after that lovely bug fix, I'm sure that we all know about, Bianca W, being an absolute meme for a few months. But now I feel like, despite the nerfs, still insane character, just absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, and just the main things is AoE and CC is the magic combination in team modes, and she has all of that, so that's why an insane character, really. And you can see, not bad stats at all. Yeah.
Now, Celine, this is one we were having fun talking about last night. Celine is quite literally the Aphelios of this game. You need a doctorate degree. You need a doctorate. You need 3 master's degrees in aerospace engineering to get this character down properly. You need to also just know your geometry. You need a protractor on your screen playing this character to get those knockbacks right. But Celine is most definitely a knowledge gap in this game. If you can pilot Celine insanely well, I'd even say like quadruple S+ tier, possibly. But for the average man, she's a solid character. You can definitely get some cool things done with her, but if you really take the time to master her, the more you know about her, the better she gets.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I just think it's just a knowledge gap, really, and we probably are not even seeing combos you can do now, just because people don't know what her full potential is, so I just can't wait to see like some god pilot on her, just take her to the next level,
the chosen one.
Yeah, exactly. So you can see extremely low pick rates just because most of us don't have 3 master's degree the player, so and same thing with squads.
Yeah, despite guys, don't get fooled by the stats as well. Just she's still a great pickup. It's just you just gotta really know how to play her. I do think she's fallen a tiny bit out of favor despite her nerfs, but she's still really good. It's just like we said, it is an encyclopedia gap.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and just with Echion. Okay, the thing is, we also did discuss Echion last night, and the fact that he's like, they've buffed him the fact that you can play tank on him again. Like, he was S tier when people realized, oh yeah, I can do a lot of damage and just play tank and not worry about dying at all. And so they nerfed him for a while, and he was like really on the downflow from that. He also had a game-breaking bug where you'd randomly get, or yeah, you'd randomly not be able to control your character, so you just kind of stand still, and the other team could just kill you for free because you couldn't input anything. If they fixed that bug, there's another bug resurgent with that, but that one's luckily avoidable if you know how to play Echion. If you don't know this bug, it's if you use your W, which is like the shield effect, I don't know the name of it, sorry. When you're at max VF, it will like bug out and will make you have that same issue again where you'll just stand still, you can't input anything. But as long as you don't use your W when you're at max rage, you won't have that issue. But yeah, just tanking Echion's come back as they've buffed his true damage. And I think right now, this is, we both said A+, but the stats will definitely not reflect this. I think this is more of a future pick because we've seen where Echion is and we can tell where he's going, you know?
Yeah, Echion agreed, just 100%. Totally agree with what Nico's saying.
So yeah, you can just see like they look average. Like I said, I think people don't realize how good he is right now in team modes.
Yeah, definitely needs a bit more love. Oh, now oh boy, Mai is a character that I have been talking about everywhere. Gen Chat in the Eternal Return Discord, I've been talking about her on my stream. In terms of duos, a little bit less in squads, but duos is her place to shine. Such insane utility. She can bring so much to the table. All three of her items that she can make, her chest pieces, her Aoyai, the Myth Crop Top, and then along with the Phantom Jacket, despite Smolder being completely removed from the game, thank God, it's still just disgusting. I think Mai brings an absolute insane amount of stuff to the table, and she, oh my God, this character is so annoying.
Yeah, and I mentioned the comp, the Rio Mai comp, like getting an Aoyai on Rio is just, she's just gonna output that so much damage and not be nearly as squishy. It's just a combination of Mai's kit and what she can make, like their chest pieces is just insane.
Yeah.
You can see you can just see how it's reflected as well. Yeah, in both modes, so definitely top tier. Okay, and we have Aiden. Okay, for me, I'm already gonna note that I may be underestimating Aiden, which is why I put him in A tier. I was seeing some play with Bojum in the ERL the other day, or it was more like yesterday, and he won on it with Aiden. And just for me, it's just, he has some CC with again, me not really knowing all the moves with the area of, I don't know, the ring that he puts on the ground that can cause a root if you walk in it, but it's mainly just single target damage for him. But if you get Halo on Aiden, he's pretty much unstoppable, really. Just does so much single target damage and healing if you pair him with like Monohoshi Zao that it's hard to kill him.
Yeah, 100%. God, I feel like I've said 100% too many times, but apologies to those listening. Aiden, I certainly love. I think another knowledge gap, not as much as Celine probably, but still a very hard but rewarding character to play. I think once you're able to get him down, that's why I put him A+, just like Celine. He has so much you can do with him, and I've seen a few people, especially my good friend Locke, do insanely well on him, and I'm excited. I haven't got to watch a lot of Korean Aidens, obviously, other than the little one-offs in ERL and ERC, but excited for the future of Aiden, truly.
Yeah, you can see here, again, not too much noteworthy here, in my opinion. Just a little bit lower on the pick rate, but again, maybe just people don't know how to play him fully yet.
Yeah, he's very hard. Laura is a character that I think, again, just like Daniel and a few others, definitely a solos character. I feel like she struggles in team modes. Her ultimate, it can knock up a whole team, don't get me wrong, but it's very rare, especially with her calling card, her W, being kind of a single target. She could probably blow somebody up, but just doesn't bring a whole lot to the party, basically.
Yeah, it's just, I'd say B+ in duos, and I'm sure you agree with that. and just like in squads, definitely like B tier. It's just she doesn't bring much as the more players you add to the team, you know.
Yeah.
You can see just low pick rates in duos, but then even worse pick rates in squads, you know. So
Yeah.
okay. Tia. Okay, I said A plus with Tia, and it was mainly just I haven't seen a lot of Tias personally, so when like trying to think of how Tia was, I was like, I don't know, maybe she's not like top, but she was looking like really good at her stats, and I think now I would definitely say she is like S tier. Just she has a lot of CC and quite good at like poking, and with Pakua Chang doing so much damage with its primordial hex on it, I think she brings a lot to the team. Especially you can build her like half tank with EOD boots and battle suit and do like really well with her.
Yeah, she is also, guys, if you don't know, she's the only character where she has true damage that actually scales with your with your ratios, which is kind of crazy. It's 100% of your skill amp and then also part of your AP as well. It's fifth, I believe, for different ones it's different scaling, but still, or no, it's actually, I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, that in itself is insane. And of course, like we said, the amount of utility, just damage, she has the full picture essentially.
Yeah, and you can see that she's got those high pick rates and not bad stats at all in duos, and just squads it's just so much better as well.
Yep, you guys should see the stats now.
Yeah.
Oh, now here's our boy, Mr. Felix. Unfortunately, Felix, after, you know, his first few days where he had a very big major bug where all of his skills were doing triple flat amp, which is true damage if you guys don't know.
Yeah.
There was not fun at all to play against a character that just pressed about 5 buttons and you were dead and there was nothing you could do about it.
Yeah.
Since then, I just feel like he's become a worse version of a few other characters. He still like has his place, B plus, you know, we put him, but other characters, other fighters like Luke, definitely I think outshine him. Luke just is so much upfront stat check in your face damage. I still feel like he's not bad, but maybe we just haven't discovered everything there is to him yet.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I was just saying he's a little bit like worse Luke, or you can compare him to Luke in team modes. But he has like really good chase, but that's kind of it. You can just see that the stats kind of also reflect this. He's just top 1000. He's not doing too hot in duos, and the same with squads, really.
Yeah.
Okay, Elena. Okay, this is the character I know that I'm probably underestimating, mainly because I haven't really played much, or I haven't really seen much Elena's. That's the main thing. And like this is the most like the newest character where we actually have stats for. Like I have no stats on Priya because she just came out, so this is our last stats knowledge character. And I know a lot of people are just kind of still learning her. Good thing with Elena is her ultimate being like an AoE freeze, and that could help your team set up into some deadly combos. And again, I'd put her just B plus just because I wasn't too sure, but I don't think Circadia will fill you guys in more.
Yeah, in squads right now, it is definitely an ultimate bot. She runs full tank with Diamond Shard. She can just go in. The amount of utility, again, insane on her. The freeze, like Nico said. And then Diamond Shard, there's a slow. You know, there's just so much you can do with her. And it's very hard to kill her while you have 2 other people on her team just trying to, also just do a billion damage to you. And I definitely think she is a solid addition to the squads roster.
And yeah, so you can just see like low average kills in duos, and even like win rate. I think just people are kind of learning her, and she has above average pick rate. I don't know if that's a combination of she's good and people want to try out the new character, and like squads, like her stats are looking a bit better, but again a bit lower on the average kills. But makes sense now that Circadia is saying that she builds more tank, so if she's building tank, you're gonna expect lower average kills on her.
Yep.
And now we have our initial thoughts on Priya, because we have no stats, I said, so I don't want to say like fully on what Priya is. You guys would have probably seen my initial thoughts on Priya, like my Priya first impressions video. If not, I'll put a card here for you guys to check out. Yeah, what are your thoughts, Circadia?
I've played 16 games of her. I have won so many games with her. Trust me, I've been winning my squad games with her. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like it's because I'm playing Priya. I just feel like it's because I'm not an awful player. I know that sounds kind of weird, but I don't feel like anything that I'm doing is because of Priya. It's more macro knowledge than it is micro with Priya. I feel like if I wanted to pick Priya, I don't feel like there's a reason right now. Pick Johann, pick God, even Nathapon at this point. There's just I don't think she has a lot going for her. The fact that her flowers also they go away out of combat when she is a setup character, I don't want to compare it to Celine, but that's kind of almost what it's like. But it's just her setup is just bad. Her shield is kind of minuscule at the moment because of how much you have to set up Portamento just to go through all the flowers. Her E is insanely inconsistent, especially for solo. If you're playing her in solos, it's awful. If a melee character gets on top of you, it's kind of impossible to get them off. Even with her ultimate, I just feel like she needs some help.
Yeah, for me, I think her ultimate is incredibly useless right now, and just her E really needs some help as well.
Yeah, it's just so painful. The fruits that you get with your ultimate too, you can't really even see them. They're so insanely hard to see. Like she has a lot of clarity issues too. So hopefully, if you guys don't know, she's going to be playable tomorrow in ranked. The hotfix will go live tonight. So, who knows? Maybe by the time this video goes out, our opinions will be different. But for now, be cautious with her.
Yeah, and now we've already discussed all our thoughts, so I'm going to show you the final tier list of everyone. So you can see, we also wanted to give a quick note to our SSS tiers, because we didn't really talk about that previously. And for me, SSS is defined as meta-defining characters. Like, these characters kind of run that mode, or like the meta, and the people who are are either like counters to the top people, or just like solid characters themselves. So yeah, we put 3 characters in each one, and we agreed on for duos it'd be Mai, Adriana, Chiara. Just, we've already explained why, I'll link the video to Adriana Chiara duo comp as well at the end of this video for you guys to see. And yeah, anything else you want to add about meta defining?
No, those 3 just disgusting characters overall. I definitely can see them getting nerfed again in the future. I feel like the Mai nerfs weren't enough. Chiara, definitely probably going to get something looked at with her. And Adria, I'm not even sure what they're going to do to Adria.
Yeah, and then also just a quick note, we also put Priya in C tier for now. Please note this will probably change. Like, it might even change like in 24 hours from now, after the hotfix comes out. But right now she's like the worst character, and when she's supposed to be a teams modes character, so a little ironic. And yeah, and here's the squads one as well. You can see the main changes you would have noticed between would be Emma, Daniel, and Laura really being up. But other than that, most of the characters are kind of the same. But the thing we've noted for squads as our S tiers or SSS tiers would be Air Isol, Rio, and 11. Just like, you can really say like the S tiers are like all the S tiers are still like insane, but these are just the ones that are kind of defining. Mainly with AR Isol right now is just the AR changes have made him incredibly strong, and I just expect the rise for AR Isol in squads. And yeah, the squads might these knowledgeable notes. I definitely probably have more to add than me here.
Yeah, honestly, 11 has just kind of ran everything for a while now, along with Rio. But like Nico said, the rise of AR Isol is going to be a painful one, especially when you're building traps on him. Unlike Xiukai and Nadine, traps are more flexible. You can go to multiple zones for that, obviously. Nadine, you also have to, force feed her all the animal kills. But with traps, you can force feed Isol and nobody on your team is going to care, essentially. Of course, people the higher the elo goes, we'll build stuff like EMP drones, but it is still a good way that they'll have to walk up and disarm those traps, and still it could lead your opponent to very bad positioning, which you can punish with Isol, his Semtex bomb. There's just so many good opportunities for him that now especially have come up, and Judgment being as strong as it is, 120 bullets, you are definitely going to be seeing some air Isols in your team mode games, probably, very soon.
And yeah, so I'm pretty sure this is the end of the slideshow. We've gone over 200 slides, guys. If you enjoyed this video, like, please give this a like. I've spent a lot of time on this, multiple days just working out all the stats and like arranging with Circadia as well, which I'll link all his socials in the description for you guys to check out. I really appreciate taking the time, or you're taking your time, Circadia, to come and be a guest for this video.
Yeah, of course. I'm so happy to. Always fun to talk about squads, especially, here in North America. It's more big in Korea, but I'm so happy to, hopefully bring some insight onto what's going on in the higher elo, especially in Korea, to NA, which we've been doing. Of course, ERL and ERC, which are over right now, but, we're going to have a bunch of more stuff coming up soon. We got stuff in the works, hopefully, for duos and squads. So, hopefully you guys there at home look forward to it in the future.
And yeah, I'm also going to be doing a duo comp guide with Circadia, which will be linked on the left once it comes out. But for now, I hope to see you guys at the next video. So, bye-bye.
Bye, guys.